Welcome back to Cap. I'm Corbin,
And I'm Cody.
and today we're going to tell you why F1 should win Best Picture in 15 minutes or less. It's the first part in a 10-part series where each episode we break down what is great about all 10 nominees at the 98th Academy Awards. Our discussion today is only on the positives, only about the stuff we love. No negatives, no outside drama, no Brad Pitt beating Angelina Jolie. We're not getting into that today. We're talking about the film F1. Let's get into it. Of course, F1 was nominated in Best Picture, Best Sound, Best VFX, and Best Editing. I wanted to talk about the cinematography, though, to really start things off and talk about this film. What makes this movie so impressive is all the technical aspects, all the camera angles, all the ways they're able to capture the actual Formula One races and, present them on screen. There's 16 different camera angles on the car that they're able to capture. They've got these like rotating remote 360 cameras. They're able to capture stuff in 4K, and they were able to like build all of this into the actual car bodies. It's truly impressive.
Yeah, it's actually unbelievable, the filmmaking process behind this movie and everything behind the scenes. And I think it's well deserved to get all of these nominations in the technical categories. And yeah, the cinematography for sure is one of the standouts. Like you said, putting the camera in the vehicle.
And I mean, the thing about F1 cars is they're barely built to hold a person. Like everything about them is so that they're as fast as possible, as streamlined as possible. The weight is like you don't have room to put a backpack at your feet. You're the one person to put in there, and they were able to attach these cameras in a very particular way.
And I think along with that, kind of hand in hand, the visual effects, I think, is the biggest strength in this movie. The fact is, like, all of the cars that they're using for this are their own cars. They aren't, you don't just get access to F1 cars because you're making a movie. And it's a movie that it doesn't feel like it has that very many effect shots, just because it is used so seamlessly. But there's about 2,500 VFX shots in this movie, which is a lot. I don't think people realize how much actually behind the scenes stuff is in this. It's basically all of the race sequences, kind of are just straight visual effects. So I'm going to make a case right now of I think it's a clear winner for the
You
visual
take it
effects
over
Oscar.
Avatar.
Hell yeah, every day of the week. But yeah, I think obviously that along with the cinematography and then the sound as well, which it obviously was nominated for, like it takes you in that POV of the driver. You get to see kind of what's in front of them, how dangerous, how fast, how powerful these cars are. And Joseph Kaczynski obviously doing that with some of his past movies, Top Gun Maverick, and then just the visual style, the cinematography of Tron Legacy, I think, bleeds into this as well. So all of the visual elements I
Light
think
bikes.
are killer for this movie.
The VFX are really top notch. There are some scenes where it's like, man, I bet this has no VFX, and there's a ton. And there's some scenes where it's like, I bet this shit is all VFX. And it's like, no, they actually filmed this for real and they actually did race it. So it's that cool balance of like things that are seemingly fake are very real, and things that seem very real are very fake. And it's able to blend those. The crash sequences I think are really impressive. There's multiple in this film. The cool thing is that Apple TV, I'm not doing an ad right now, but like they do have bonus features on there. And I was able to watch a cool one of how they did the crash. They launched one of these built F1 cars fucking 100 feet in the air. And it was a cool thing of they were trying to get it, particularly in the Damson Idris crash when JP crashes and his thing gets lit on fire. They were trying to have it like crash through these Rolex signs and hit the fence, but they ended up launching it even further than they wanted it to. And they're like, fuck it, like let's use that in the movie. And then that becomes the VFX shot. And then they mix in real fire with actually, Damson Idris like getting out of the car, getting his arms lit on fire. Like it's a cool mix of practical effects and visual effects in a really awesome way.
I saw too they based the crashes off of like
Real
ones that happened
crashes.
in real life too. Yeah, so a ton of just research behind the scenes, making this as realistic as possible. And yeah, I think it just helps the cast as a whole kind of take on this project. But yeah, everything I thought was very impressive behind the scenes for sure.
It's working hand in hand with F1 to create something that is reality. I might have some issues with the way it presents like the rules and the depiction of the sport and like the culture in that way, but like the technology and how these cars work and how they would react to a crash and how the tires are like everything is very technical and planned out. And like you said, it's all based in the reality of like crashes that have happened prior and in how people, could potentially survive them. To me, the editing is another standout in this film. Really impressive stuff. All the graphics, obviously, it's an Apple film, as we mentioned, very Apple-esque, where it's like, okay, now we're gonna see the leaderboard of the cars. Okay, this is the position that the Apex team is in. The race track images that appear on the screen, the lap number, all of this is super clean, super within the aesthetic the F1 movie is trying to create, and that's all in the editing. Also, a lot of cross-cutting between multiple things. So you have two different drivers. You have the team that's there on the sidelines talking in the radio. You have the Tobias Menzies character who's up with like the board. There are a lot of different storylines that are intersecting at once while the race is happening, and they're also speeding up these races. Obviously, they're long, like 60 lap races that they're cutting down from. You see a couple important laps in the beginning, and then maybe you see the ending. It's all very intuitive in the way that it's telling the story. There's also a lot of cool moments where it like completely cuts out the sound. Talking about how this is such a film based in the sound editing of it, but there's moments where the sound entirely cuts out to power the emotion of the scene, whether it's the crash or the final, victory lap. The sound editing is all incredible.
I do love the sound for those specific moments too, of it going completely out during the crash sequence, and definitely, reminding and flashing back to his prior wreck as well. I think that was well done. And then, yeah, the ending too of, him just locked in and, him being one with the car, I think is one of my favorite moments for sure. And uses sound
He's
incredibly
flying,
well.
is what they say.
Literally, yeah. And then the editing too, yeah, I back that completely. Because this movie, I mean, it's like 2.5 hours at least. It doesn't feel that long just because we are speed running
It's like
through.
237.
Yeah, it's a lot. It probably could have shaved off 15 at the end, but we won't mention it. But it gets you through a lot of races, though. Like I think it's basically
A
the
full
entire
season.
back half of the season. Yeah, which is pretty impressive. And it doesn't feel that long. Like you said, I mean, it really does hone in on just like the key moments during each race. There are some technicalities with the rules and stuff that they break, and there doesn't seem to be much consequences, which is fun. But at the end too, when they're both kind of healthy and giving it their best go, like the double POV shot, I feel like was really engaging because you really do care about both of the characters specifically in that final race as well. And the edit does a really good job of showing kind of both of them and including the team, obviously throughout the race as well, which I thought was just really really hard to do with all of the moving parts.
We mentioned there being 16 different angles of the car. It's like, okay, every race you have 16 angles of the car just that you could cut between. And the way that they're adding in the camera will rotate once and then it'll cut to the next. Like it is kind of a true artistry to the way that this is cut. It is watching something that is pretty magical in these montages. And there's even like the scene where it's like cross cutting between the crowd all doing the wave and then cutting into the car. And there's just a lot of fun like back and forth like that both sound and visuals that are matching the cuts.
Honestly, all the things that we've mentioned is 100% the reason why it was nominated for Best Picture.
Right. This is a pure technical movie.
Yeah, I think probably out of most people ranks things, this is going to be in a lot of people's back house, just because it's not the sort of Oscar baity movie that you would think would maybe go on and win it or maybe even be nominated. But I think because of all of the technical achievements, this is 100% a movie that deserves to get noms. And in a year where heck, there's not there's a lot of good good noms that we'll get to. There's not an obvious winner. Why not give it to the best looking one? Why not give it to kind of the one that took a risk on a larger sports movie and did something crazy. So I think that this would be a fun pick for Best Picture.
And I got to shout out the casting as well because I feel like Damson Idris, right at the center of this. Obviously, you've got Brad Pitt, stoic old Hollywood force at this point. Like our the vision of what is a modern movie star. Damson Idris, he was on an FX show for a couple seasons that I had never heard of. That was pretty much it, and he's basically cast out of nowhere. And I think this guy's a big star. Playing the young version. Obviously, you get like Callie Cook. She's Jody, which is like the mechanic that has the relationship with him. Tobias Menzies, Sarah Niles, who plays JP's mom. She's from Ted Lasso. Abdul Salas, who's the other car guy with the gray hair, and then like Carrie Condon, of course, who I think is given not a lot to do in this film and is kind of given this tough role of, you know, female love interest in a movie that's really uninterested in its female characters. But I think she's really incredible and, you know, one of the great supporting actresses of the year.
I love Carrie Condon. I love that they just let her do her accent as well. Go full Irish. Just top tier accent there. But yeah, I do think that her relationship with Brad Pitt was interesting, more so of them working together. I did like with her character of how they focused on, she was kind of the first, or she was, working to become the first female, on the team who won a race, which was a massive achievement, obviously, on that side of things. But yeah, her relationship with Brad Pitt was interesting. I do 100% agree. The standout for me is the supporting actor in Damson Idris. Is it Damson? Is that correct? Who
Yeah.
knows? We will know soon because this guy's awesome. Like you said, he used
Potentially the next Black Panther people want to have him, you
that's
know,
great.
T'Challa's son.
It's great casting, I think. But yeah, not really been in a ton. He was in a Black Mirror episode that I do like in general, but other than that, I mean, movie wise, he really hasn't been in anything. I thought he was absolutely amazing in this. Kind of big time breakout role. He just got like the charisma, I feel like, for what you would want for this role. This up and coming driver who is very young, has that potential, but obviously just like unproven and cocky, but still knows like he has a long way to go. And just kind of him and Brad's relationship throughout the movie, starting off with, just no respect, but it does blossom over time to where they do have that mutual respect and they actually start working together. Versus at the beginning, it's for sure they're against each other. Obviously, you can tell in that first race, but I really thought that he just brought the chops along with Brad. It was a tough category to sneak in this year. I mean, supporting actor is absolutely just stacked. So I'm not surprised he didn't get a nom, but I would have liked to seen him sneak in. I think that would have been a really deserving nomination. But heck, man, yeah, give me a lot more of Mr. Idris. For some reason, just with Idris, I think he's like related to Idris Elba or something. Just because I feel like he reminds me of how good of an actor Idris is. But obviously, I don't think any relation. But I love this kid. I think he's awesome.
Last name, first name, yeah. Probably not related.
Close enough. Close enough.
Damson Idris Elba. Apparently he is in Gina Prince Bythewood's next movie that isn't coming out until 2027, but that is exciting. Fun cast with Idris Elba as well as included.
Oh wow.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, Cynthia Erivo, Viola Davis, Regina King.
It's a really good cast.
And Damson, so he'll be there. So excited to see that fantasy novel adaptation. But that scene where it's him, Carrie Condon, and Brad Pitt playing poker together, like that to me, one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
So good.
Him standing up to two incredible actors, and even Karen Condon, again, like somebody who's not given a ton to do in this movie, able to really like leave her mark on the film in a really interesting way.
I think I agree that might be my favorite scene in the movie, which is crazy. Obviously, talking about all the visual spectacle that you get. And also, I mean, shout out a little bit to Javier Bardem. He is kind of just there. But I do really love just like the specific shot too. It's like become an iconic like GIF. I feel like almost in a sense of the background, or excuse me, the fireworks going off in the backgrounds, and
not the greatest looking fireworks, but
I think it looks dope. But Javier kind of going through and shaking everybody's hand and celebrating. I thought that just moment of jubilation from him was pretty solid. But other than that, him and Brad are decent. I think the acting altogether, like there's no bad acting. But Damson was definitely the standout. I didn't think anybody other than him really was like, oh wow. Carrie Condon's accent, but like we said, just wasn't given enough to do.
And maybe we'll get Javier Bardem up on the stage, shaking hands, fireworks behind him when F1 wins Best Picture.
Heard it here first.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.